Welcome to the Brindlee Mountain Fire Apparatus podcast. This is our inaugural video podcast, and I am your host, Tim White, along with my co-host, Stephen Bearden. And today we have some very special guests. We have two of them this time. We have Billy and Paula Claunch. They're completely random people that just happen to be married to each other and have the same last name. Welcome to the show, Billy and Paula.
Hi, Tim. Hi, Stephen. Thanks for having us.
Glad to be here.
For the introduction as random people. I couldn't think of a better way to be introduced to your audience. Thank you.
You are very welcome, Billy. I do what I can. All right. Well, this is our very first video podcast, so this is kind of exciting stuff for us. Now, we did do we kind of did a practice session with another employee, but we weren't sure we were going to keep him employed, so
That's
it was
right.
simply
Yes.
a practice session.
Same situation this time, or
No. This is the real.
Okay.
This may still be practice, but yes,
Okay.
we do feel confident you'll still be here.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the real deal this time. Yeah. The other guy, I'm not sure. He's kind of on the fence, but we'll see. All right. Well, let's jump right into this. So, Billy, I've known you for way too long. I don't know. How long have we known each other?
probably 1996 or 97. No, it would have been 98. So 22 years.
20 something years. Yeah. Long time. You're good with numbers, but that's why you're not in
27
finance,
years.
right?
27?
27?
1998.
No, because I met you after we
How long
started.
was
Brindlee.
1998? No, it wasn't. It was before Brindlee. Wasn't it?
I don't remember if it was before Brindlee or not, Billy.
This is starting off really well.
It's
We
starting
did
off
meet
great.
at some point in the past, I'm confident.
At some point in the
I'm
past,
sure we did,
you
because
guys met.
you were kind enough to invite me to one of your relatives' houses for Thanksgiving. Not going to say their name, but I do remember that. And maybe it was one of your relatives, Paula.
It's mine.
Your relative, yes, I remember that because I remember the patriarch of the family telling us to get out of the kitchen. Everybody, get out of the kitchen, and so we all got out of the kitchen. And I was
Sounds right.
like, "You have a lovely house," because Billy used to remind me of that, but.
He had a firm opinion on the location we needed to be in the house, and he voiced that several times, actually, on Christmas Day.
That was,
It was Christmas
All right.
Day.
was it
Y'all going to
Christmas?
stand in the other room now.
That was
It was
awesome.
kind of that vibe, and we said nothing. We just stood in the other room. But that was the first day I remember hearing Tim's formal voice or radio voice or now podcast voice.
You have a lovely house.
That's it. Yeah. It's deep. It's inviting. It's comforting.
It really is.
It's almost an ASMR level.
He does.
I could almost go to sleep to that voice.
I don't even know what
It's
that
very
means.
comforting.
Don't let
It's
it
very
It
comforting.
sounds. It's just a comforting sound.
Is
But
it?
as
You
we-
just have that
All right.
comforting
As we
sound.
left the house, he shifted quickly into formal.
It's what I do.
You have a lovely home, Mrs.
Yes.
Unnamed person.
Right.
Unnamed
Yes.
relative.
All right. Well, enough about Paula. Let's jump right into this. All right. So, are both of you from Huntsville? And nodding your
from
head is
Huntsville?
not really appropriate for a podcast.
Oh, yes, that is
It's a
accurate.
video
yes,
podcast. It works.
Honestly, though, Billy is not from Huntsville. He's from Madison.
Born in Huntsville, but I moved to Madison early in my life. Like
Madison.
day 2 or
There
3.
too.
Yeah.
Yes, we're both from Huntsville.
Both born and raised in the Huntsville area.
All right. And where did you guys meet when you were still in school, or was it college, or what?
We met in kindergarten.
Kindergarten. Okay.
Kindergarten, yes.
Wow. Long way back.
Yeah. It just took him a while to convince me.
Well,
Dun-dun-dun.
I get that.
We met in kindergarten. We reconnected in college because we were in kindergarten together at Westminster, and then Paula was held back in kindergarten. I don't know.
Really? You're just going to throw that
I
out
don't know
there?
the
Wow.
academic
Thanks.
history or the details.
Thanks for throwing that
But
out.
at that
Great.
point, I know I was awarded an advancement to first grade, and Paula stayed in kindergarten.
Thank you.
So we didn't really form a relationship in elementary school, although we were aware of each other.
Okay. All right.
Small school.
We did want to, Steve and I also offer a marriage counseling service.
We do.
That's also videoed and broadcast everywhere around the world.
We'll need to take advantage of that, I'm sure.
Yes.
Sure. And it'll be complimentary. First visit's always complimentary.
Nice.
That's right.
If it works out, great. If it don't, well, then we send you a bill.
great.
So it works out great for
Perfect.
us. So.
It does.
So where did you guys go to school?
Went to Auburn.
Like grade school, like kindergarten? Where
Grade
did?
school? We both went to Westminster, and
Okay.
then I transferred in the 7th grade. Went to Randolph. He stayed at Westminster.
Gotcha. Okay. Did you play sports, Billy?
I played sports, Tim. I played soccer at age 6 through age 12.
That's not really a sport, is it? Is soccer a sport, Stephen?
No comment.
Okay.
Tim,
I'm
it's
just gonna
time to
leave
get
that
on
there.
the Ted Lasso bandwagon.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's time to accept
You're in a
soccer
small
in your
bubble
heart.
saying that. It's the biggest sport worldwide, I think.
is.
Besides maybe war or something.
I was thinking
I don't know.
football. Sorry, go ahead,
Football.
Billy. You played soccer.
Yeah, American. I played soccer.
Okay.
Non-American football, I guess.
Okay.
Soccer
All right.
in Huntsville from age 6 to 12. I played baseball. Ages 11 and 12. I was terrible at baseball though. And then I played basketball from 7th grade through 12th grade, and I loved basketball.
Okay.
And he was good at basketball.
Basketball was great. I wasn't good at basketball. I played basketball for a 1A school. In 7th grade, I had 9 points the entire year. And I started my senior year, but I think we had a losing record. But I did enjoy playing basketball.
He got his name in the paper several times.
Name was in the paper, small paper. It's a
The Westminster
school
Times or-
publication.
No, the
and
Huntsville Times.
I wrote the paper.
Oh, perfect. How about you, Paula? Did you play any sports?
I did. I played basketball.
Okay. And where did you get your name in the paper?
Like once, but I was
Okay.
pretty terrible.
Okay. I didn't play a whole lot of sports growing up. I played tailback in football, but I get off the bench and the coaches get your tailback over there.
We loved
it is.
basketball. It was kind
There
of
you
life. Junior high school basketball was everything. So at Westminster, they built a new gym the summer going into my junior year.
Mm-hmm.
And Westminster was at that time located on Evangel Drive. It's where the rescue mission is now. So they'd had a gym for probably 30 years. It was the same gym. So they built this new one, which was awesome. It was a brand new gym, new floor, square backboards, because we had the old round backboards in the old gym. So we were all excited about this gym. So I had a friend who was the principal's assistant the class before lunch, and she had the principal's keys. So one day she took the principal's keys to Walmart, made a bunch of copies of the new gym keys, distributed them out to people, and now we had access to the new gym, unauthorized, but access. And one Sunday, Jeff Russell and I went up to the gym. We're going to shoot basketball. We open the door and we see the 6'4" frame of our calculus teacher unshaven and staring at us, and the exit light asking, "How'd you get in?"
Were they?
So we got busted.
Was he on to you? You think, or was he just there?
He was just there, but he did hear us in the hallway. So had we been quieter
Might could have got away.
approaching the door,
Mm-hmm.
we might have heard him and we could have run away.
All right. So I know you guys have kids, so tell us about the kids.
Wait, we can't skip over Billy was homecoming king.
Really?
Indeed.
Really?
So
I was homecoming king. I beat out the other 3 boys in my class for homecoming
you
king.
had
Good
more
for
than
you, Billy.
3
Thank you.
boys. I'm impressed by it.
Good for you, Billy.
All right, we do have five kids. Was that your next question?
It was. Yes. Tell us about your kids.
We have James is
So we're done talking about me. Is that
Yes, we're
at this
we're
point in the
shifting
podcast?
over.
We're moving. Okay.
Let's just move over to Paula. I
Okay.
think we've
Just making sure.
Billied enough here.
Just want to know where we are.
You go ahead, Paula. We'll cut his mic.
Thank you. James is 22. Damien is 21. Hank is 20. Henry is 20. Sorry. Stella.
19. He's 19.
Yeah, but it's
Isn't he?
easier if you just say them all in a row. Because
You're right.
just let
Never
me do
let
my
the truth
thing.
get in the way of a good
I
story.
thought you
That's
told
right.
me you were going to cut his mic.
We were
and
supposed to.
here
Sorry.
he
Doggone
is,
it.
still yapping.
Sorry, Henry.
Stella is 15 and Gracie is 11.
Man,
And that is
so-
the end of the clown car of our family.
No, so I can remember Billy bringing James and Henry to the shop when they were just little. And then when Stella was born, it's hard to imagine them being, young adults. And man, that is, golly, y'all are old.
We are.
I stayed the same.
Luckily, you've been able to avoid it.
Yes, I
But
have.
we have not.
Definitely
You
avoided.
do look remarkably the same. You must have aged early. I don't know. I don't know how that works. The physics.
I thought
of it,
that was
but-
going for a fountain of youth thing.
I thought
but
it was too.
Had a little
that
work
was,
done.
No.
Yeah, again,
you look
we
great for a 70-year-old.
yeah. Well, I did go to a plastic surgeon, and he's like, you know what? I don't have anything to work with. So here I
Can't mess
am.
with perfection.
right.
Right. That's what I took it as. I don't know that he meant it that way,
I
but
think that's where he was going there.
yeah, he's like, I can't do miracles.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, well, fine, whatever. I'll go to a different guy. But anyway,
I'll tell you a quick story about James. When he was probably 2, I was at the shop on a Saturday, and I had 3 sets of customers at the shop that day. It was probably about 20 people. I was the only one there. I don't know where you were, but
normally there on Saturdays.
yeah, you were usually
Back then
there.
I was.
But I was the only one there this day. Had 20 sets of customers, 3 different departments, and I thought, I don't want to have to give my sales pitch for the trucks and Brindlee 10 different times or 20 different times. So I thought, I'm just going to go collect everybody, get them in one place, give them the presentation, tell them where the pumpers are, so on and so forth. So I sat James down in ops control. There was no desk there. It was just open
Sure,
space. And gave him a truck. He was playing with it. And then I walked outside and I started gathering everyone from the boneyard and this side of the yard and that side of the yard and got them. And we were in front of the upper shop. And I started giving the presentation. Thanks for coming to Brindlee Mountain today. We really appreciate you coming. If you're looking for pumpers, they're in this line right here. You can see the customs. You can see the commercials. Keep in mind, we don't work on the trucks. When they get here, we make an assessment. We will fix stuff for you, so don't be freaked out about it. If you're looking for rescues, so I go on and on and on. And then right in the middle of it, I remembered, oh my gosh, I have a son, and I left him down in the shop, which at that point in time, maybe we didn't have the same safety protocols we had today, thanks to Tim. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I just told everybody wait right here. And I went running down to the lower shop, just worried where James was going to be. I busted in the door, and he was sitting in the same place playing with the truck.
Oh, wow.
But
Is this the first you've heard this story, Paula?
It is not.
Okay,
He
just
also fell asleep when Henry was about 2 at the polar bear exhibit in Memphis, Tennessee. So when I got back from getting our drinks, Billy was sound asleep and Henry was just crawling around on the bleachers watching the polar bears.
Yeah.
I have no recollection of that.
That's
I think
because you were asleep.
What's
That's
your
because you
name
were
again?
asleep, I think.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
were asleep.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't remember that.
That's hilarious.
That's great.
See, we learn all kind of stuff
Yeah.
from coworkers and friends that we have known for a long time.
Yeah. I love it.
All right, so we've talked about your kids, and let's kind of take a step backwards. You guys reconnected. You said in college you went to Auburn, as I recall, and War Eagle.
War Eagle.
Nothing, Billy?
War Eagle, sorry.
There it is.
There was
There
that
it is.
awkward silence.
Yep.
Sorry, my phone was ringing. I thought it was messing up the
No, you're good.
the voodoo of the podcast equipment.
Nothing is more important than this.
Can you guys hold on just a second while I catch this call?
Sure.
Oh my, it's James.
Oh,
That,
Do not take that phone call, sir.
who is James?
yeah. Who's that?
Not your son, James. It's the other James.
It's Wessel.
Yes. There you go. We know who that is.
Yeah.
All right. So back to you guys in college. So how did you reconnect? Did you just like see each other on campus? Tell me the story. And Paula, you'll probably tell me the true story. Billy will probably really romanticize it.
You do it.
We ended up living across the street from each other. So one of her cousins was a great friend of mine in junior high and high school. So we were friends at Auburn as well. We were all down there at the same time. So they had a friend group together, and we were just in that friend group. And we lived across the street from each other in Auburn. So just reconnected in that way.
Was it like you saw her and you're like, I think I went to kindergarten with that girl?
No, I mean, we knew each other. We were
We'd seen each other
associates
a couple times
Yeah,
at parties
we were
in
friends,
high school.
and we'd see each other around. But there was probably a year or so where we just kind of saw each other, and then we got to be better friends before the arrow of Cupid's bow struck Paula.
Billy was a little less of a knucklehead than the rest of our friend group. So he was a little different.
Slightly.
And we got stuck in Huntsville one summer when everyone else stayed in Auburn. And so because of that, we spent a lot of time together that summer and just became really...
Summer of 1997.
We became really good friends, and good friends turned into what happened if we dated. So
Love it.
That's an accurate assessment.
Okay. How long did you guys date before you finally said, you know what, let's get married?
Well, we started dating maybe late 97, early 98, and I have issue with the whole dating thing, like, because there's not like a, biblical construct for it, really, not that there has to be for everything in life, but we dated for a while, and then we would break up, and then we would be back together, but not official, but we'd see each other, and then we wouldn't, and then, so it was just all kind of a undefined relational issue, which I was very uncomfortable with. Paula loved, I think. She likes the thrill of dating.
I loved dating. I thought it was super fun.
I was not a big fan.
Does not like the
I'd
drama.
rather just kind of know what we're doing here. So at some point we had said, hey, let's spend the Millennium Eve together, December 31st, 1999.
Okay, you are telling this story in the most boring way possible. This is not exactly what happened.
Well, I was building up. I mean, I guess it doesn't matter now because my balloon was flying ever higher and you shot it out of the sky.
Just saying, you're missing some key components here of what actually happened. So
Go ahead, Paula. Set it straight.
I was ready to get married because I was ridiculous. And I told him, look, we've been dating long enough. Either fish or cut bait. And he opted to cut bait. And so this was around in May. And we stayed broken up then. I moved back to Huntsville. He was already working in Huntsville. And we were both saw other people during this time. But like he said, we had planned on doing the Millennium together because we were the only people in our friends group that were excited about the year 2000. Everyone else thought it was kind of lame, and we were all in. We thought, no, it's so cool that we've been born during this time, that we get to experience this. So we said, no matter what happens, whether we're still dating or not, let's do the Millennium together. So do you want to take over now?
Sure. Yeah, so the Millennium, which we're pretty confident we were going to die the next day anyway because of Y2K. But we spent the Millennium together, went to Atlanta, and leading up to it, I thought, this is crazy. Like, if with us breaking up and not seeing each other and then seeing each other. And I had a friend of mine named James Lane, who is one of the Jameses that our oldest son is partially named after. James Lane, he was a real estate developer in Huntsville in the 50s and 60s when the city was really blowing up and everything. And I was telling him about it. I was like, I'm just not sure what to do. And he was probably 80 at the time. I think his wife, she may have been passed away, but she definitely had dementia at the time. And he was kind of like, just marry her. It's not that big a deal. And I thought, because when you're young, I don't know, everybody says, oh, you have to make these decisions. They're important for the rest of your life. You have to make sure they're right. You have to think about it. You have to pray about it. You have to do it right. And I was always kind of like, oh my gosh, like I don't know what to do. And then Mr. Lane was just like, it's not that big a deal. If you want to do it, just do it. And so it kind of just cut through for me a lot of the overthinking that I was applying to it. So I thought, that's a good idea. I think I'll just take the next step. So the next step for me was, I guess, buying a ring. So I didn't have the money for a ring. So I was working at the brokerage firm at the time. You remember where I took all your money through fees?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a good gig. And so James Wessel and I were friends at the time. So James had the stock tip for QLT Therapeutics, which was supposedly this company that had solved macular degeneration, a big cause of blindness and people, and they were about to have an FDA trial. So we traded the QLT stock, And I think I had about $1,000 and turned it into $5,000. Took that $5,000, went to the store and bought an engagement ring. Then went and asked her dad.
Are you going to glaze over how Wessel felt about you spending that money?
We're going to need to
James-
know, because
Yeah, James didn't have a high opinion of it initially because he was kind of like, "Are you like you were broken up with her like 2 weeks ago, and it hasn't been like a consistent relationship, And I was like, well, yeah, but it will be after we get married. That's the point of marriage. That's the consistency.
yeah,
There is
marriage
no
fixes
other-
You
everything.
don't get more consistent than that.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which I appreciated him saying that. It's good to push back.
I was less appreciative.
Yeah, Paul,
I
Paul
can imagine.
Paul wasn't a
Sure.
fan at the time.
I bet.
So I talked with her dad and then asked her to marry me. And then
Okay.
she had to.
Just stop.
Okay.
Bring it,
So
Paula.
Wednesday night,
All those things were factually true.
Wednesday, we have a day.
he had told me, look, we still need to do the millennium together. And even though we weren't dating, we weren't even seeing each other at the time. We had all these dramatic, situations. And so he said, you still have to do the millennium with me. And I agreed. I said, okay, we'll do this. We'll go to Atlanta together. Wednesday night, I went on a date it was on my third date with a dude. And Friday night, we got engaged.
Wow.
Wow.
So I had to have a very awkward conversation
Oh, my
with
goodness.
this other guy. Oh, by the way, I'm engaged. Sorry. So,
Yeah, and I'd been on a date with somebody a couple weeks before, and I was just kind of like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. This is really not the direction we need to go. So
lovely girl, but
I'm sure she's wonderful. Yes.
I'm sure he is.
so our friends were a little taken aback when we called them the next morning. But my parents were absolutely over the moon and thrilled about it because they adored Billy. He's
Really?
a bit of a
Had they met him?
son-in-law dream. So
Is he?
Yeah, the parents always liked me, but the kids didn't. I
Fascinating.
was a very, you have a lovely home, Mrs.
there you go.
Unnamed relative.
Perfect.
I can relate to that completely.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So you've mentioned James Wessel a couple of times, and
Sorry, who?
yeah, right, that guy. Yeah, do you guys? We don't need to go down this road too far, but do y'all remember whenever we went in the limo to Birmingham to that dinner?
yes.
It was the two of you, James, and we picked up a young lady somewhere in Birmingham.
Oh,
or
yeah.
something. And then it was me and another lady from work that were going to a conference or something.
The
was-
Landstar annual banquet.
That was it,
Landstar,
yes.
that's it. Yes.
That was so funny. I just remember James would start talking, and all of us would be like, no, stop. And he would just keep going. That was so much. It was funny. It was so much fun. Looking back on it now, I'm just like, man, what a memory. In a limo that we couldn't keep airbags in the back of that thing.
Sometimes
It was an interesting
worked,
experience.
sometimes didn't.
Yes. Who drove? Do you remember who drove that for us?
Thomas Wu, one of Paula's cousins and a friend of his. He had just
Okay.
graduated high school.
Yeah, I couldn't remember who drove for us. I just remember riding in the back going,
Yeah.
please stop. Please
Because
stop, James.
high schoolers are generally very safe drivers.
Of course they are, yes.
Teenage boys.
And you might point out for anyone listening, when you hear the word limo, that thinks we were living high on the hog in 2003 or 4 or 5, whenever that was. This thing, we bought it off. Well, we needed a vehicle at the shop for getting customers from the airport, I think. We were using personal vehicles. We didn't always have one at the ready. So we decided, all right, we're going to get a vehicle. And we were talking about what to get. And we thought, well, let's get something fun and cool. And the world at that time, it didn't have the population of interesting vehicles you have now. Now it seems like, I mean, if you want to get a vehicle with mounted weapons and it's got an RV in the back and somehow it's, on a Pinto chassis, somebody's built that. Like there's
right.
everything exists. Well, that wasn't the case at the time. So we thought, let's buy a limo. So we got on eBay and found this thing out of a hotel in St. Louis, Missouri. It had 330,000 miles on it. And we bought it.
Solid vehicle though.
You know, it actually, as I recall, the motor ran great.
Motor ran great.
We just couldn't keep,
Just
it had
everything
airbags
around
on the
it.
back of it,
Yeah.
and we couldn't keep airbags in it.
Wow.
They kept popping it.
We'd pick customers up from the airport and you'd have 4 or 5, generously apportioned firefighters hop in the back of this
There you
thing.
go.
And
Yeah,
that's right.
those things at some point would
Pop.
pop, and you'd see it pulling up the driveway, just get dragging the rear end.
Yeah, sparks.
In fact, do you remember the very first trip we made in it?
I don't know.
I called a friend of mine who worked at a bank down in downtown Huntsville who'd wanted to do business with Brindlee. And I said, hey, this is not much, but we did just buy a customer retrieval vehicle if you'd like to finance it. And he said, sure, yeah. He said, we'd like to come out to the shop and meet with you. And I said, great, I'll send the car to pick you up. So I rode in the limo. I was riding with someone, or someone was driving, and we picked them up. They were on the square in downtown Huntsville, these two bankers. And I was trying to show out a little bit. I knew the manager at the bank, and I was like, make sure to tell him, like, you're getting in the limo and, you're going out like we're doing this. Well, then we got to Lacey Spring, and it broke down. And you had to come pick us up.
I do remember this now. Yes, I do remember this. Oh
so carrying the people that financed it for us in its inaugural voyage, it broke down after 8 miles. So solid... It was definitely a vehicle. Solid vehicle is not an accurate assessment, I don't think.
Are there pictures of this limo that exist?
Yeah,
somewhere.
Like
sure
around?
Somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to throw maybe a picture of this thing on the
It's
video.
what you're picturing.
We've got
like
to.
you're picturing it, that's what it is.
I love that. I love that. That's exactly what
1998 Lincoln Town Car.
I'm picturing. Yes.
Well, we've bought some strange things. What was that James bought those 6 armored cars
Yes.
to surprise you, and
Yes.
we all went. 6 of us went to Canada to pick them up, and I think one actually drove into the shop, and it was the one I was driving. Thankfully, that was.
You had some issues at the border, some
Yes.
security issues.
Yeah,
right?
5 of us got through, and the 6th one they flagged him and said, "You need to get your friends back here."
Wow.
So we spent the day at Niagara Falls while Customs tried to figure out how do we receive 6 armored vehicles that were built in the U.S. back into the U.S.
Could see that throwing some flags. Yeah.
Yeah, they were interesting to drive.
It's a sad world where we don't have free trade, that you can't import 6 armored vehicles from a nuclear facility in Canada and bring it to Alabama with no government oversight.
Yeah, what are we doing?
I know.
You know?
It's crazy.
Right. You know what? We haven't asked you what you do for Brindlee Mountain.
Yes.
Billy.
My current title is Vice President of Purchasing.
Okay. Nobody knows what that means.
Thank you.
But so essentially, what does your day-to-day look like?
Yeah, so my responsibility right now is buying fire trucks. In the past, James had always owned that responsibility. The reason we have a business is because James started buying fire trucks, right? And everything else iterates off that, because our product is not something that's manufactured, it's something that's acquired. And you can't manufacture a used fire truck, so we have to go buy them from somewhere. So James, in building the company, worked really hard for a lot of years to create the relationships and the reputation that allowed us to buy these fire trucks. It sounds easy, but it's borderline impossible. It's a miracle that we are where we are from that standpoint. But James did an unbelievable job for 20 years creating these channels so that people will call us and say, "Hi, I have a fire truck for sale, and I've been told you're the trustworthy person to work with." That's an unbelievable phone call to get. So
Yeah.
my responsibility right now is overseeing that process, as James is working more on the rural metro side at this point.
Yeah, just thinking through that, talking about being unbelievable and a miracle. What, 23, 24 years ago, James went to FDIC by himself, not knowing anybody. And how many are we taking this year? Is it
52?
Isn't that crazy?
Wow.
A ton
52.
of people.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite stories, because James tells that he went to FDIC in 2002 and talked with 6 people. He knew 6 people, so he found them at the show and talked with them, and didn't get an introduction to anyone else, didn't really know how to approach anyone else, so he talked to 6 people. And a few years ago, we ran some estimates about, I think we had 25 or so people going, X number of people work in the booth. So we tried to come up with, I wonder how many people Brindlee people talked with at FDIC this year. And it was somewhere in the 4,000 to 5,000
Wow.
range.
That's pretty incredible. All right, one more Brindlee related question for you, Billy, and then I'm going to shift over here to Paula for some stuff. All right. I used to check in trucks. You may not have known that about me, Stephen, but
I did not know that about you.
I actually did work there.
Wow, you worked there.
I actually,
okay.
yeah, hard labor, very hard labor.
Emphasis on one word there. Yeah.
Which one?
Worked.
Used to? Oh, sorry. Anyway,
Tim, I'll interject one thing. At that point in time, I remember we decided everyone needs a job title. I think maybe we didn't have job titles at some point, or I don't know, but we were just racking our brains about what do we make Tim's job title, because he did such a variety of different things. So the job title actually was Tim White. So I remember.
wow.
Do you remember
Was
that?
Tim White.
We had our job description, and you'd have the job title at the top and then the employee below it.
Right.
And so mine at the time was VP of Sales, Billy Claunch. Tim's was Tim White, Tim White.
You couldn't get anything to describe everything, so it's just the Tim
He's
White position.
indescribable.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's
just
great.
like the song Chris Thompson. Oh, wait, that was about someone else.
That was.
Anyway,
Yes.
all right. So, Billy, you used to always say, hey, can you just do a quick pump test on this for me?
Right.
Yes.
What did that mean? Because there was never a quick pump test.
I don't know, but I would put the question back to you. I asked for a quick pump test, and you would turn it into some long, dramatic, theatrical, oh, this broke, I have to fix. I'm not asking for this. Just pump test the thing.
Just a quick pump test.
Yeah, just a quick one.
And I feel like
It's storming. Tim, with the
See,
thunderstorm
there.
outside,
Boom.
I don't want you to be out there long because I care about you as a person, because that's what's most important is people.
I feel like he checked the forecast before saying, can you do a quick pump test for me?
Tim, this tornado is at least an hour and a half out.
You're good.
You've got
Could
just
you go
enough
knock
time.
this out?
Just a quick pump
Just
test.
enough time.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Paula, what is it like to be married to somebody who works at Brindlee Mountain Fire Apparatus? And this is a family show, so please, no profanity. We have to keep this clean.
It is, the positive side is that it's reassuring to me because I trust Wessel and I trust the business that they've built, and I don't have to worry that Billy's going to get involved in something he doesn't need to be involved in, that our family doesn't need to be involved in. Mm-hmm. That is incredibly reassuring because I know a lot of people that don't feel that way about who their partners are married to. Mm-hmm. So I really appreciate that part of it. Does he work too much? He likes to work. He's a worker. He's not good at relaxing. Like, I could literally stay in bed all day with a book. He
Mm-hmm.
would go crazy. There's just no possibility of him doing that ever. So, all in all, very positive.
Good. And I would say probably the majority of our team, our executive team is probably like that, where all just laying around doing nothing is hard and relaxing is difficult. And I know that you and James and Jason intentionally, and Nate intentionally take like 30 days off to relax. And I hope that you guys actually do relax. Walking away from your email is difficult. I took 2 weeks vacation one time. The first week was nerve-wracking. But the second week I was able to disconnect. So that's helpful. But, and also,
speaking of relaxing, Phil Moyer one time was mowing his lawn at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday.
instead of
And
working.
I get a phone call from James, who lives across the street from Phil, as
Mm-hmm.
you know. And James, sometimes when he opens a phone call, it's a single tone for the first 45 to 60 seconds, and then it starts to reverberate a little bit. Billy, I just walked out of my house after sending emails for the past 4 hours, and Phil is mowing his lawn at 10 a.m. on a Tuesday. And I said, why are you telling me this? And I said, well, now I know why you're telling me this, because you and I have been working. We're worried about this. We're trying to deliver this. Phil's a great salesman. Why isn't he worried about it like we are? And I said, no, you're the one to be pitied, James. I'm the one to be pitied. Phil is he's out there mowing his lawn. He's enjoying nature. He's praying for his kids, probably listening to some music. He's happy. He's what we should aspire to be. And you and I are just on the phone complaining about it.
Phil is the real life epitome of Shaggy on Scooby-Doo. That's who that guy is.
That's
he's
great
just
description.
yeah. I don't know how he sells so many trucks. He just
If I could get the work done in 20 hours a week too, I would do it. I'm just not that good. It takes me 50 or 60.
All right, Stephen, you want to kick in with some?
Yeah, let's get into some just rapid fire questions. I did want to say you were being really humble earlier about being homecoming king, and I appreciate that. I was homecoming king as well of my school.
Wow.
Whatever.
I feel
Wow.
so.
Yeah.
Me and you, Tim. We're
Yeah, get out.
So lame.
I'm done
I
with
was
y'all.
homecoming king as well. I was homeschooled, but so I did beat everybody else out.
Because your mom was the only one voting. That's it.
Yes,
Your dad was the only
I was
no vote.
definitely the only one there, but I did make it just barely. But rapid fire questions: who snores louder?
Me.
That was quick.
That was quick.
I did say rapid fire though.
When I'm not using the little device thing.
The CPAP?
CPAP.
Oh,
No,
no,
the CPAP's, that thing's insane.
Yeah.
I feel like the lady at a Superman 3 all wrapped up in the wires. You can't do that. The little, it just goes in your mouth.
Somnodent, whatever.
Yeah. It's like a miracle.
Gotcha.
It's a miracle.
Yeah?
It has literally changed our marriage.
Yeah, it's good. Me.
We're not trying to sell it, but
Rapid fire.
This,
Not trying to sell it,
podcast
but
is-
I've got a slightly used one if anybody's interested. Just hit me up, Billy at firetripmall.com.
There you go. What's the most embarrassing thing you've done in front of each other?
family show now.
Yes,
I'm
clearly.
an extrovert. I talk too much. I talk way too much. And so there's been plenty of times when I've kind of felt myself just getting out of control and getting louder as I'm talking. That's probably one of those times. That would be my guess.
I can't think of an embarrassing thing. What's an embarrassing thing I've done?
Billy tells the same. I'm afraid to bring it up because I'm afraid if I bring it up, you're going to try to tell it to him. And I promise they've
Well, I
heard
have
it.
to tell it to him. So
No,
it's
you
told
don't.
accurately.
You
if
do
bring it
not
up.
have to tell it to him. He's got a story from college that he tells so much. It's about a refrigerator that
For you, this is a new audience. Though.
went. No, I'm sure if you've known
It's
Billy,
a field ripe for the harvest.
if you've known Billy any length of time, he's told you the refrigerator story. You don't just pretend like you remember it.
Tell it, Paula.
Oh my, please don't make me tell this story. That is what drives me crazy because we will be out with friends and he'll start to tell it again. And I know they've heard it, but they're being nice and just being like, oh, sure, we'll hear this story again.
I'm sure you've never had that experience, Tim.
No, not me. I don't tell the same story over and over and over, right, Stephen? Thank you.
I've never heard the same thing twice from Tim. Let's go to the next question. What's your go-to comfort food as a couple?
Oh,
Indian, probably.
yeah, Indian.
Indian.
Real, I have
Jordan
never
Lane.
had Indian
I've
food.
never had Indian food myself.
Oh man,
Is it spicy?
butter chicken. Order it mild.
Oh,
Butter
you know what? I
chicken,
have had
ordered mild.
Indian chicken at that place that was on in front of Joe Davis Stadium. Whatever that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That was actually good.
Oh, we love it.
Yeah. Anyway, okay.
gonna
I
have to
take
do
back
it.
that. I've never had Indian chicken.
Yeah, I have not.
1.2 billion people can't be wrong.
Right. No, you
Can't
said
really-
wrong. Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I don't guess I can
Indian.
really
It's
argue
good
with
food.
that.
All right. Jordan Lane today, lunch.
Yeah, sounds
Do
great.
it. All right. We're there.
Who's the better cook?
Paula.
Neither of us are winning any awards. He's good at breakfast. He does breakfast occasionally.
I can cook toast.
Cook
Good
toast.
for you, Billy.
You cook eggs, bacon. You're good.
Yeah, I can do breakfast food.
He's a good breakfast cook. Yeah.
All right.
The silliest argument you've ever had?
Silliest.
I would struggle with this. I think.
Ooh, can I tell the story about the Monopoly game,
Yes.
or is that like still
No, it's fine.
Absolutely.
too soon?
You're fine.
All right. Remember, we have the complimentary marriage counseling thing afterwards.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Billy and this is when James and Liz had just gotten married, and we went over to their house for a game night. It was just us and them, right?
Yes.
And we decided to play Monopoly. And Billy and James decided to act like complete toddlers about it. And we literally got in a fight because I sold a property to James that Billy didn't want me to sell to him. And we had to leave because James and Billy were getting so upset with each other about this Monopoly game. Is that an accurate retelling of the story?
I think so.
Oh my goodness, it's a game for goodness.
Monopoly can bring the
It's
worst.
a metaphor for life.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I've seen a lot of people get mad over a game of Monopoly. It's
really
a real thing.
ugly.
Yeah, it's rough. What's one thing the other person does that always make you laugh?
Lose things.
That makes you laugh?
Yeah.
I don't know. Billy's, I don't know about makes me laugh, but it's very comforting when I'm having a tough time and I need him to kind of carry the conversation when we're somewhere. He's very good at that. He's good at reading a room. Makes me laugh. You used to make me laugh so now I feel like we are getting into marriage counseling, but I do remember when we first started dating, I would get home from a date and my face would hurt because I had just laughed so much when I was with him. Mm-hmm. And I would just tell him, stop making me laugh. Like my cheeks are literally hurting right now. So.
Humor is my natural language.
Gotcha. Yes. Okay. All right. So we're getting ready to wrap this up, but I do have one other question to ask you, Paula. So, Salesforce do we run the house on Salesforce? I know we're running the company because Billy's just all about it. Does he use Salesforce at home?
He uses Salesforce for everything. Okay. If he can Salesforce it, he's going to Salesforce it.
Gotcha.
It is his one true love in life. It is everything to him.
Okay. And has he transitioned to Wiki at home? Because everything here is Wiki. Wiki this, Wiki that.
I don't think so. I don't think he's brought that.
We don't have a home Wiki yet.
It's coming. It's coming.
Well, maybe. If we can ever get full adoption on Salesforce. You have to have that first.
That's true. Yeah. That's an accurate statement.
You build a house on shifting sand, it's going to come down.
Yes. All right, guys. This has been so much fun talking with you guys today, getting to know you a little bit better. I've known you guys for a long time. I love you guys. You are an amazing couple, and I'm so thankful that we got to bring you on our very first video podcast. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us, Tim. Thanks, Stephen.